That has got to be the damn best damn movie that I've ever seen in regards to straight up kick ass action, knockdown, drag out. What are all the adjectives, man? And I thought John Wick had that. John Wick does. But Bob Odenkirk, man, the guy is 58 years old. And the dude was like a machine, a damn monster, a beast in this movie. Kicking ass like he did. Holy crap, man. The guy's a mild mannered dude. Don't know his background, right? And then you find out that the guy was worked for an organization, pretty much like the cleanup guy. They went to him strictly to finish up shit. He wasn't arresting nobody. He wasn't there to, you know, he wasn't there to just to be, all coy and sweet and nice. Like he said in the movie, he was the one that, was a person you did not want to see show up at your door. There was that one instance where he let a guy go. The guy said he was going to do better, right? Lets him go, and then he's watching him in the window, and the guy ends up getting a wife and kids and a one on the way. And that's what actually made him change to not want to do that type of work anymore. He ends up with a wife played by Connie Nielsen. We all know her as Princess Diana's, not that princess, but Wonder Woman, her mom in Wonder Woman. And I recognized her. I looked at her, I go, that's Connie Nielsen, right? That looks like her. But she's not in her normal attire, of course. That's Wonder Woman's mom. She's not the she's not the focus of the action and everything like that. I guess Connie Nielsen said, I'm gonna switch it up and I want to play a doting, faithful wife to the main protagonist. The movie was great. The fight scenes were intense. The action was just out of my mind, just bonkers. When he faced those dudes, those guys in a bus. We seen that in the trailer, and how he pretty much beat the crap out of all of them. He sliced one guy's throat, and he ends up doing a tracheotomy, getting a straw and poking it in his neck. And he didn't show it, but I think so. Like excess blood will come out of the straw so that he can breathe. And it's not funny because he came to a realization. He's all like, you know what? I want to go back to what I did before. And like you said, it lay dormant. That feeling of like him wanting to come out again and be that killing machine that makes Liam Neeson's character in Taken look like a damn Cub Scout. And so he ends up beating these guys up. Ben doesn't realize that one guy is the brother of a big-time Russian mafia boss. Guy was a good guy. Guy reminded me of what do you call it? Of Hans Gruber. He had that charisma. That he had that presence about him. Had all these dudes around him, and almost the same kind of thing too, right? Because that's what drove Hans Gruber. Because when his brother was killed, no. Hans was killed. No. What was that? Remember when Jeremy Irons in the next Die Hard movie, like Die Hard 3, right? His brother was killed, and it was Hans Gruber was killed, and then he was his brother, right? If I remember, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie. But the same kind of thing where a brother he gets killed, and the thing about it, he didn't like his brother. He didn't like him. This is hilarious. He didn't like his brother. Even the one guy told him, the black guy who this guy said that he don't even look Russian, and he starts talking Russian. That's like the other thing I always talk about, how people look at you and like they don't think that you're, like just because a person is black, he can't talk Russian, or because this guy's Chinese, he can't talk, what do you call it? I say Filipino, or a Filipino person can't talk German, or stuff like that. I mean, there's just such a thing called language courses that you can take languages. I speak Tagalog, and I still got people in my family, people that, and my friends, that people that I meet that still don't believe that I speak it. But I digress. We're not talking about that. But yeah, the movie's pacing was really good, man. It's like you really, really lived vicariously through him, and it's like you wanted to know what he was going to do next. I don't think he knew what he was doing next, but his instincts drove him. You know, that first scene, when the girl and the guy break in, because it was like a pizza box that I believe it kept the garage door from closing completely. I don't know if they put it there, like maybe inadvertently, you know, instead to take out the trash. I guess it fell out and it went underneath the. It went into like the pathway of the garage door, or those guys did it. But you would think that they would close it. I'm pretty sure they closed it before they slept for the night, And it just so happened, and then they got in there, and then they were kind of holding him at gunpoint, and the son, his older son, had the guy in the chokehold. Then he was right behind the girl. The girl was pointing the gun at the son, and he had a beeline on her. He had the golf club in his hand, and then he was about ready to swing. He stopped. You don't know why. And then he pretty much told his son to let the guy go. Let him go, and they both hightail it out of there. Nothing more than they said, "Where's the money?" He had a tray of just dollar bills. She grabbed like that, and then they found out that the little cat bracelet, that's where she put his daughter. And then he thought that they took it, so he goes and searches for them. And he's about ready to do some damage, maybe even kill them. They wouldn't tell him where the cat bracelet was, but she gave over the watch that she took from him. She wanted his rings back at the place. He said, "No, you're not getting my wedding ring." And later on, find out that the reason why, and I believe he was talking to his telling you, these bugs piss me off. But he was talking to I believe that was his brother-in-law he was talking to, right? Because I think he was the only one that he was, not brother-in-law, but his brother that he was talking to on looks like CB radio or something like that. So it looked like a little CB setup, but pretty cool, pretty old school. And pretty much told him that the reason why, because people were giving him a hard time. It really kind of annoyed me, because like people were giving him a hard time for not waylaying the chick with with the golf club, and I'm thinking he had a reason. And I'm thinking, why would they do that when it's like he did that and it kept his family safe? What if he would have done that? The guy that was in the chokehold probably could have broke out of that. He could have did something. He could have hurt his son and his wife. So he did the right thing. But then you find out that the reason why he didn't do it, he told him that when the girl pointed the gun at him, he noticed that there was no bullets in the chamber, and that it was no bullets. So he had a conscience. He pretty much said, "Why am I going to do this when we're not even a conscience?" He was thinking like, this girl really is no threat, so why am I going to hit her? The guy is a killing machine. The guy is trained to do that, and it's like he could have easily taken these two out, even with guns. He goes to get the bracelet back. Like, I'm going back to what I was talking to, and then she doesn't have it, and all of a sudden he hears a baby crying. He goes over there, and the poor baby has like a breathing type of apparatus. Like, the baby looks like it's sick. Maybe that's why they were trying to rob people, because they had that kind of situation. He said, "Oh shit," and then he just goes out, because pretty much it's not worth it. They got a family. He has a family. He knows. But then let's talk about what he got himself into. Didn't realize it. He ends up seriously hurting, almost killing the lead Russian guy, the mafia boss, Yelyan was his name, right? Yelyan. And he didn't know. He was defending a girl that was on there that they were harassing. Pretty brutal, damn brutal action in that bus. That was like they first bunch of drunk idiots. They smash into a barricade. Ah, a bus, a bus. They go to the bus, and then they start harassing people. And they're thinking, looking at him and thinking, he looks like a mild mannered, loser of a guy. He doesn't look like a threat. And then what I liked about it though is that when he was fighting, it wasn't like he was able to take him out like that, like Jason Statham style, and and not get hit at all. He was getting his ass beat at the same time, and that's realistic. It's like John Wick, same thing. John Wick is, same thing. He's a badass and he can kick ass, but then he gets his ass beat too. But on the way, he's gonna end up beating everybody up like he did. And get out of my face, stupid. I tell you, you're starting to be like what do you call that? You're like those damn flies who always bother you. He's already been biting me. It's like he's using me as a smorgasbord or something. A buffet. You already got your fill. Get the hell out of my face. Anyway, yeah. So he does that, and then now he has the Russian mob on his ass. And there's a point where he ends up meeting with him via destroying everything that the Russian man, the Russian mob boss, his possessions, blows up his whole house, has all these priceless, works of art that are like 8, 9 figures. Thinking 8 figures, like 8 figures is what like half a billion, right? And then 9 figures is a billion, right? So, and he pretty much goes there. He's sitting at the table in a club that the Russian mob guys hang out at. He's sitting there calmly eating his food and stuff, and then the Russians like, you have a lot of nerve just coming in here and sitting down and stuff. Like, how's the meal? How's the meal? How is it? And then they think they got the drop on him when he goes to reach for a napkin that's covering something, right? And then he's like, and then all the guys have their guns on him. He then carefully lifts it up, and then he has his finger on it's like look like a landmine. Looks like one of those big square mines that they'll put on the wall and stuff like that. But his finger is on a little ring around his finger and a wire connected to it. So I guess all he had to do is just go boop, and then the whole thing would blow up. So he still got their attention. The mob boss tells him to get out of the house, and they have a little chat. They want to end it. They're even, right? He went after their family. He destroyed his shit. But then when leaves, and pretty much says the Russian guy pretty much says to him that all you had to do, you didn't have to blow up my shit. We would have been even. We would have been okay. Or maybe, who knows, right? He still would have went after him because he still went after him after he left. And then you have a high speed chase where he's using a car that he stole from a neighbor. It was a pretty nice looking vehicle that the guy got from his grandfather when his grandfather passed. So he took that thing, and then it's like destroys it en route to pretty much leading these guys on a high speed chase. They end up at their because he bought a business from his father-in-law, played by the great Michael Ironside. I totally got I totally recognized him right away. He's pretty big. He's put on a lot of weight since the last time I seen him. He's usually the burly, sturdy looking, well, built, in shape, like heels, bad guys. I said heels because I'm still thinking about wrestling, but bad guy, right? But here he's just plays this straight up father-in-law figure, and apparently he's got some gold bars. Does that's Odenkirk. Gives that to him because earlier, in the movie he wants to sell the business, but he wants to sell it to somebody who gives him a nice offer, not just a regular offer for the business. He gives him like gold bars, about 5 of them, 6 of them, but each one of them probably worth about 100,000. I don't know. Good amount of change, right? his brother-in-law, his wife's sister, I mean his wife's brother. But hey, mate, wait a minute, like I need a say in this, like that. He gets up to, I don't know, because he thinks that he's he was a former military guy and he looks like he can kick some ass, but he's not better than fucking than Bob Odenkirk, right? And Bob Odenkirk just gives him a real sharp gut shot, and he helps him down. So okay, breathe, sit down, breathe, and then Dad just goes deal, handshake. And what he does is that he doesn't want to take over the business. He doesn't want to use it to make money as a business. No, he uses it as pretty much a safe house. He pretty much starts building all these type of gadgets, all these type of things. I mean, there was like these two or three cannons that had these pipes in them, and I knew what was going to happen with those things. And then when it paid off later on, and he's just doing all this stuff, all of these just different types of booby traps, because he was going to lead these guys to that place, and he does. And might I add, I loved RZA's part. RZA was a half brother, and he was the one that would be talking to Odenkirk on the radio. And then you had the legendary what's his name, Christopher Lloyd. You know him from Taxi and more famously as Doc Brown in the Back to the Future films. And here he is, and he's older and aged rather advancedly. I mean, I haven't seen him in some time. And sometimes you always look at the characters that they played and you go, oh, and then when you finally see them, how old they are or how they look now, you're like, oh, okay, he's changed a lot, but he kicked ass. And as a former FBI agent, and along with his son, played by RZA, they aid, what do you call it? I like the scene when they were trying to go up against all the family members, right? When they again went to his house, he had the kids and wife in the basement. Put in the code, said don't call 911, and they're downstairs and they hear all this thumping and all this crashing. They go up, and all of these five guys that are left behind that were dead. One of them was just hanging on. And what I liked about it too is that the son and the wife were old enough to see that. The daughter is like this, I like that because it's like, she doesn't need to see that. Takes them in the car, and then she goes off. She knows where to go. She knows a place they can go. She takes the kids, and then you see a scene where he pretty much is talking to them and pretty much tells the story of his life. And then he ends up burning them up, burning the house up with them. He says it's designed to really to the point where their bones and their flesh and all that's going to be burned beyond recognition, so no one's going to be able to identify him. One guy was still up, and then he was out. I said to myself, oh, I wonder if he bored the guy to death, because he was just talking his ear off, But, then you see him burning up, you see the house burning up, and all the people coming out of their houses as he's going to I thought it was his car, but he ends up taking the neighbor's car, so. And then let's just fast forward and to the part where he leads all the Russian guys and the mob boss to his safe house, I guess you can say. And he proceeds to take them out with the help of Christopher Lloyd and RZA. And it was a really, really great scene. I love the gadgets. I love how they came into play. Guys were running up the stairs. There's this thing, I think it was a pin. And these guys are stepping over it, and one guy steps on it, and they get blown up. Fucking body parts are splattered against the wall. And then there's this one thing where it was against the wall, and there was a wire that triggered it, and they shot bullets, and these guys were getting taken out. I love the one scene when RZA was up against a bunch of guys, and then he shoots at 3 dudes and shoots them all at once through the head, 3 for the price of 1 shot. Something you see on the video game. If that was a video game, RZA would have earned a trophy. Like you do on PlayStation, right? You get those trophies every time you have an accomplishment, right? And there's that, and then Christopher Lloyd just being a boss, man, with the shotgun, the shoot, man, boom, boom, boom. And as slow as he's moving, man, but he's just confident. He gets behind a wall, he turns around, and He's just handling his business. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about RZA. He's handling his business, using his rifle and shotgun and whatever weapons he has, and then using his martial arts, kicking and punching. RZA is a martial arts expert. From what I understand, he trained in New York City, where they have a Shaolin temple there, and they train, non Chinese as well, non foreigners as well, there in New York. And so he's doing that thing, and then what do you call that? Everybody's dead except for finally everybody's dead except for the Russian mob boss. And you see the slow motion type of thing. It goes around. The camera goes around them, and they're hugging because they accomplished their goal, right? And then RZA gets shot. I believe it was through his left shoulder. Now I thought it was going to be Christopher Lloyd. There's one scene where I thought he was going to get shot, and then that was going to be the catalyst for Bob Odenkirk to really get pissed. But he didn't. It was RZA. But RZA made it through. And he's alive, so they have a shootout with the mob boss. And then what happens is that Bob Odenkirk, he still has that, I guess you'd call it a landmine or something like that, whatever that thing was. And he puts it up against a glass. He puts it in front of, slams it actually, and makes it stick to the front of a plexiglass or a fucking bulletproof shield, and he runs towards the guy. And they collide, and then of course he gets blasted. The Russian mob boss gets, Yelyan gets blasted against the wall. He's dead. And then Bob Odenkirk is knocked out. He's got the wind knocked out of him, but he's gonna be okay. And that's that. They accomplished their goal. And doesn't look like they're gonna have any more Russian, gangsters and a mob boss after their ass. And then they fast forward to him and his wife looking at a house, nice house. Focus a lot on the kitchen. Made me think like the woman I was the real estate agent, like she's telling them like, oh the table, the kitchen table is made of aluminum alloy steel with a bronze thing, whatever like that. And I go, do they honestly have to memorize everything? I guess they got to, because they got to describe, everything in the house. I guess people got their taste and stuff like that. And the only thing that he asked was, in the end, he goes, where's the does this thing have a basement? Like, I guess he's anticipating that he might have some visitors, if you will. But and the movie was just a blast. It was really great. I thought it ended there. I thought that was it, and I was satisfied. I said, this is a make-up movie in the sense that it made up for the crap that I watched previously, which was Army of the Dead with Dave Bautista. Is it called Army of the Dead? I don't care what the title is, because the movie was shit. It was awful. It was a muddled mess. I didn't care about the characters. In fact, I wanted all the characters to die in the end because I didn't give a fuck about them. They were boring. And the zombies weren't interesting. They're trying to go for something different, intelligent zombies. But at that point, I go, it's not a zombie movie anymore. You might as well just call it like call them some type of like bioengineered. What do you call it? Bioengineered, monsters and stuff like that. It didn't work. Some movies, they do a little twist on the zombies, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. This one, it didn't even think, but whatever. It made up for that. And I've seen some great movies during my time away from doing my channel, and from the Justice League, to I've seen some movies, and Mortal Kombat was a disappointment. It wasn't bad. I liked the Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I like their storyline. I like the first 11 minutes. They should have focused on that more than the other nonsense that they had. But especially with the character of Cole, who really should not have been there. But I digress. This movie, Nobody, really was great, and I don't recommend it. I recommend it, to everybody. Nobody should miss this movie. It's really great. And then, like I said, the other and one end, the one only like end scene that they had was you got RZA and you got Christopher Lloyd in what it looks like a camper, a Winnebago, whatever you call that, and they're driving, and he's trying to convince RZA is his father. Christopher Lloyd, he's all saying, "Yeah, I did it." He said, "No, I still don't believe you did that." He told him that he shot 3 guys at once with 1 bullet. He killed 3 guys. And he goes, "I don't care if you believe it, Pop." He says, "I know it happened." And then Christopher Lloyd's like, maybe we should have taken a plane, because I don't know where they're going. They're obviously going to a far place. And he's all, "Well, with this luggage?" And then you look back and you see, not all of it, but you see right up against the back of their seat, you see a bunch of like weapons, And they start laughing. Oh yeah, they start laughing like, and of course, yeah, you definitely can't take that on the plane, But yeah, I love this movie. I enjoyed it. I may have skipped over some things, but I talked basically what I remember and what I, because I want to talk natural. I don't want to be scripted. I seriously don't. It's a pain in the butt to watch a movie and then taking notes and taking. It's like, I'd rather come at it natural, and then if I get a good response or a bad response, whatever, But I enjoyed the movie. I totally give it all the praise that you can get. All of the top scores, A+, a 10, a 5 stars, thumbs up. I give it 2 thumbs up. If I had, maybe I could, my big toe on either foot, I got raised, I got pointed up, like that. So Bob Odenkirk really is the guy who's just from Breaking Bad and from Better Call Saul. The guy's amazing, man. The guy in this movie, he's like 58 years old. It's just like Keanu, who's in his 50s. And really, are they? No, they're not. They're just as bad as their younger counterparts, man. And then speaking of that, they say there's something where they're trying to say that there's a future for this franchise. They're talking about doing a sequel, and they're talking about even connecting the universes of John Wick and Nobody. And they said it was going to be something like just a passing thing. They're not going to try to build a connecting universe, but it's going to be a nod to it. Who knows? Maybe Bob Odenkirk's character and Keanu Reeves' character from John Wick probably trained at the same place. Know the same people. But this video's gone on a little bit longer than I wanted, but I just wanted to get my point out and be able to let y'all know what I thought about the movie. Nobody is really great. I highly recommend it. I think that it is one of the best films of its type, of its kind, of its genre, which is just fucking just bloody, brutal action, bloody, beating the key word. I mean, just totally brutal. I loved it. But anyway, that's my video, and for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.